folks, welcome back to another video of GMAT Friday. I am Durga Sircar, your verbal mentor, and I am back with another question of critical reasoning today. Today we are going to solve a critical reasoning question of the inference type. Now what do we mean by inference, or what do we have to do on the inference question? As the name suggests, inference. What do we mean by inference? Inference means what can we infer from the information, or what can we infer from the information, or what is the inference that we can draw that is 100% true. So in other words, the inference that we draw from the passage or from the argument has to be such information which does not have a speck of doubt. For example, whatever information is given to us, if we draw a conclusion or if we draw some kind of statement from this information, these conclusions or statements should not have any doubt in them. Okay, inference is a question type which can occur both in your RC as well as your CR. And sometimes when you get a CR question in RC, that means you are doing really well on the paper, or you are getting harder level questions. So without further ado, let's have a look at today's question. As always, the drill is that you have to pause the video here, try the question, and then resume to have a look at the solution. Okay guys, now let's have a look at what the argument is trying to say. The argument says, Triumba birds reside in the polar regions and need to migrate to warmer areas in the winters, since winters in the polar regions are not conducive to the survival of the birds. So what do we know here? That Triumba is a kind of bird or a species of bird which stay in the polar regions, and they have to migrate to warmer areas in the winters because winters in the polar regions is not conducive, or it is not fit for their survival. So what can we say? That these Triumba birds, they have to migrate to warmer areas so that they can survive. Okay, that is what we know from the argument up till now. In recent years, because of some unanticipated genetic changes, the flying capability of the birds has been declining and is expected to continue to do so in the future. So what is happening? In recent years, there are some unexpected changes which are taking place, some genetic changes, and because of these changes, the flying capacity of the birds has been declining, has been decreasing, and is expected to continue so in the near future. So what is happening? Because of the genetic changes, the flying capacity of the birds is declining. Okay, and this is going to happen and even continue in the near future. So now what can we infer from this information? So in other words, if I have to give this a kind of a conclusion, or if I have to infer something from these two facts, what can I say for certain? What can I say without even a speck of doubt? What information is 100% true? That if this continues to go on, means these genetic changes are continuously happening, their capacity to fly is going to decline. And if their capacity of flying is going to decline, what is going to happen? They will not be able to, or they might not be able to move to more warmer areas, which will lead to what? Which will lead to a decrease in their numbers or a decrease in their population, because they will not be able to save themselves from the harsh climate of the polar regions. So something like this, if present in our answer choices, or something on the lines of decrease in their number or decrease in the number of the birds because of the declining capability of flying should be our correct answer. Now let's have a look at the options. Okay guys, now let's have a look at the options and see which of these will be the correct choice. Now what does A say? At least one species that resides in the polar regions cannot survive in the summer by migrating to other regions. But let's hold on a minute. Is our argument talking about summer or is it talking about winters? Our argument is talking about winters. We cannot infer any information about summer from this argument. So we can safely eliminate A and move on to the next option. Let's have a look at B. If Triumba birds don't develop measures to counter adversarial genetic changes, they face a likelihood of extinction. Okay. We know that these unanticipated or unexpected genetic changes are continuing in the future. So yes, the first part of B is correct, that if the birds don't develop measures to counter these changes, they face a chance of extinction. Okay, we did infer that if this continues, their number is going to decrease because they will not be able to migrate or they will not be able to complete their journey. So definitely that will have an adverse effect and some of the birds might die. And if the number of birds decreases to such an extent that it becomes very, very low or it becomes negligent, then what will happen? They will have a chance of extinction. So extinction might happen. So we can hold on to B. B looks almost correct, but we will not go for the final selection until and unless we have had a look at all the options. Let's have a look at C. Over the past few years, some of the Triumba birds would not have flown back to the polar regions because of limited flying ability. Okay, let's hold on and try to understand what C is trying to say. C is trying to say that because of the limited flying capability of the birds would have started their journey, but they would not have been able to come back from the warmer areas to the polar regions. But do we know that by how much their flying capability has been reduced? Do we know till what extent they were able to successfully complete the journey and at what time they failed to come back? We do not have any information about this. Now we cannot interpret from the decreasing flying capability that okay, they were able to complete half of the journey but they were not able to come back, or whether they were able to only complete 1/4 of their journey or 3/4 of their journey. So can we go for C? No, we cannot go for C. Let's have a look at the next one then, D. Unless Triumba birds develop an ability to live in the polar regions during winter, they will be extinct in some time. Now, some time is a little bit vague. Also, unless means this is a necessary condition. That unless they are able to develop an ability to live in the polar regions, they will be extinct. Will be again is too extreme. So until and unless they develop a capability or ability to survive in the harsh climate, because of the decreasing capacity to fly now, they will be extinct. We can't say that. Maybe their capability to fly decreases, but not that much that they are not able to fly to some nearby area where they are not under very harsh conditions, but they are still able to survive. So it's not necessary that they will have to adapt to polar regions, to living in the polar regions, only then they will survive. Okay, so this is what? This is a very close option, but out of B and D, if I have to choose one, I will go for B and not D because D is too extreme. So out of the two, B is a better option. But let's have a look at E also. the flying capability of Triumba birds is worse than that of other polar region birds. Other birds. We never talked about any other bird in the argument. We were only talking about Triumba birds. So we cannot infer anything about the other birds, or we can't compare the Triumba birds to the other bird species because that information is not present. So whether other birds who do not migrate, their capability is worse or better than them, we are not able to comment on that. So we can safely eliminate E. So in the first go, A and E are two options which are easily eliminatable. C might give you a little bit of a trouble, but you have to interpret C properly in order to eliminate it. And out of B and D, B is the better choice. So everybody who has gone for B has marked the correct answer. Okay. So that's it for today, guys. This was our inference question. Come back next Friday to have a look at another question that we'll be solving on our GMAT Friday series. If you like our content, please hit the like button and share it with your friends. And do not forget to subscribe to our channel. Happy studying!